So have you ever dreamed about starting your own online store, but then you get kind of lost in all the complexity? Yeah, if that sounds like you, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on dropshipping and give you a super clear blueprint to go from just an idea to your very first sale. Let's get into it.
You know, when you look at the whole world of e-commerce, it is so easy to think, wow, where do I even begin? Well, if you've ever felt that, I want you to know you are definitely not alone. That feeling of uncertainty, it's the starting line for so many successful entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to swap that confusion for some real confidence.
Okay, so first things first, before we even think about picking products or building a cool brand, we need to understand the engine that makes this whole thing run, the dropshipping model itself. Let's break down exactly how it works. You're going to see it's way simpler than it sounds.
So here's the magic of dropshipping, right? You get to focus on all the fun stuff, the marketing, building a brand people love, and actually talking to your customers. And in the background, a supplier handles all the boring logistics. This means you're not buying a mountain of inventory up front, and there are no boxes piling up in your garage. You're the storefront, not the stockroom.
And the best part? The whole process is incredibly simple. It really just boils down to 3 easy steps. 1. A customer finds your awesome store and places an order. 2. You then forward that order over to your supplier. And 3. The supplier packs it up and ships it directly to your customer's doorstep. Your profit? It's just the difference between what the customer paid you and what you paid the supplier. Simple, clean, and really efficient.
And this right here is the most important part. It's a total mindset shift. Your job isn't to be a logistics expert. Your job is to be the face of the brand. Your energy goes into creating a great customer experience that people will remember. You're a marketer, a storyteller, not a fulfillment center. That's the key that unlocks this entire model.
Okay, so now that we've got the how down, let's dive into the really creative part, figuring out what you're going to sell, and just as importantly, who you're going to sell it to. This is where you lay the foundation for a brand that actually stands out from the noise.
You know, let's talk about the word niche for a second. A lot of people hear that and they immediately think small or limited. But that is the wrong way to look at it. A sharp niche just means you're focused. You're speaking directly to a specific group of people who share a passion. Instead of shouting into a giant, indifferent crowd, you're having a real conversation with someone who's already excited to listen. And that focus, that's your superpower.
So where do you find these passionate groups? Well, forget chasing whatever's broadly trending. You need to dive into the online communities where people are already geeking out about stuff. We're talking about subreddits for super specific hobbies, TikTok communities built around unique styles, or even browsing through the passionate buyers on Etsy. These places are absolute gold mines for figuring out what people are truly desperate to buy.
All right, once you've found your niche, please don't overthink the branding. Seriously, you do not need some fancy, expensive logo from a big design agency to start. Just begin with consistency. Pick a couple of colors you like, a clear font, and a consistent tone of voice. Just show that there's a real, trustworthy person behind the store. Remember, clarity builds trust. Complexity just creates confusion. All right, you've got your niche, you've got a brand idea. Now it's time to make this thing real. The single biggest mistake new founders make is waiting for everything to be perfect. So let's talk about why getting it launched fast is your secret weapon.
This is so important, you guys. Your first store is not going to be perfect. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. The goal isn't to launch some flawless masterpiece. The goal is to get a working store online so you can start getting real data from real visitors. Waiting for perfection is just a fancy way to never start. Launch it and then let the market tell you what to fix. And look, you don't need a dozen complicated, expensive tools to get started. Just stick to the essentials. A platform like Shopify or WooCommerce gives you your storefront. An automation tool like DSers connects that store right to your suppliers, handling all the orders for you. And for any simple graphics you need, Canva is all you'll ever need. This simple toolkit lets you focus on the only thing that matters, getting customers. Your store is live. Yes, congratulations. That is a huge step. Now for the magic part, turning those curious visitors into actual paying customers. And this is all about psychology, building trust, and showing people the value of what you're selling. Okay, here's a classic rookie mistake I see all the time. People describe what a product is instead of what it does for the customer. So, for example, a feature is waterproof nylon, but the benefit is keeping your gear bone dry on any adventure. You're not selling nylon, you're selling peace of mind.
You're not selling 5 compartments. You're selling the feeling of being perfectly organized. Always sell the outcome.
So, you've got them hooked. They've added to cart, but don't lose them at the finish line. A clunky, confusing checkout process kills sales. You have to make it ridiculously easy for people to give you their money. Let them check out as a guest. Get rid of any distracting pop-ups or links. Show them those little secure payment logos to build trust. And for goodness sake, reduce the number of forms they have to fill out. Every single click you remove makes a sale more likely.
Getting that first sale, wow. What a feeling. It is a huge milestone. But now, it's time to turn this little project into a real, sustainable business. It's time to build your business armor. Now, I know this stuff can seem a little boring, but trust me, it is absolutely non-negotiable. This is what separates a fun hobby from a real business. Registering your company, having clear policies on your site, and handling taxes properly, it not only protects you, but it builds a massive amount of trust with your customers. It shows them you're serious and you're here for the long haul. All right, I want to get real with you for a second about expectations. Your first month is not about getting rich, it's about getting smart. You are in data gathering mode. Which of my ads are working? Which products are people clicking on? What questions are customers asking me? Every single visitor, even the ones who don't buy anything, is giving you a valuable clue. And really, that's the secret to this whole thing. Success in dropshipping almost never comes from finding one lucky winning product. It comes from the persistence to test things, to learn from what the data tells you, and to constantly refine your store, your marketing, and your products. It's a game of testing and tweaking. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So just think about that for a second. We went from that feeling of, where do I even start, to having a clear, step-by-step plan. What seemed really complicated just a few minutes ago is now a system, a process, and it is absolutely something you can do. Your journey, your store, it starts right now. So if you're feeling fired up and you're ready to really put this blueprint into action, I've got your next step. If you want to shortcut your path to results, come join the free masterclass over at www.homebizsimple.com. We'll show you the fastest way to get to $5,000 a month with your own online business.